Hopefully you're not gonna kill me.
No. Jack is.
Death Wish 2018 was pretty darn alright, especially as a modern day remake of such a classic action thriller. For the review, however, I'm not going to be comparing this movie to, or even talking about the original, since if you want to watch the 1974 Charles Bronson classic, it's best to just go watch that one. Death Wish was a fun enough ride. It's your basic action revenge thriller with a healthy sprinkling of drama, and it did the job of entertaining me as an audience member well enough for the nearly 2-hour runtime. The story is, after his wife is killed and daughter put into a coma during a robbery gone wrong, ER surgeon and all-around good guy Paul Kersey must take justice into his own hands. Slowly but surely, Kersey becomes a vigilante folk hero by the name of the Grim Reaper, all in a quest to avenge his family. I just summed up the entire story right there, as Death Wish is more focused on delivering decent enough action scenes in rapid succession, with the feeling of a gritty comic book. It's not going to win any points for originality, but the pacing of each scene flows well enough, even if it's the same 3 points. Go to place, shoot criminal, drama stuff, repeat for the runtime, and there you go. While not amazing or anything, the writing at least made the dialogue never seem boring. It didn't drag, and there was the added bonus of sometimes having the movie deliver an actually funny line. Bruce Willis did a decent enough job at playing Paul Kersey. Unlike some of his other more recent roles, he didn't sleepwalk through the part and actually gave some genuine emotion. Nothing on the level of something like Die Hard or some of his older films, but I at least believe that he was a grieving father that was looking for an answer, even if that answer was him blasting away bad guys for the last 2/3 of the movie. The rest of the cast was made up of a likable and supportive brother-in-law, discount Hank Schrader that was still played by Dean Norris, the detective's partner, and of course the random voices of radio DJs giving us updates on the story. The scenes with Kersey's wife and daughter felt genuine enough, even if they were mainly kept to the opening and ending of the film. There were a few other characters here and there, and I liked them well enough that I was happy to see them in the movie. No one really drug down the movie with their acting, so everyone did a good job. The bad guys were all incredibly unlikable and weren't set up for any sort of redemption. They were basically nothing more than cannon fodder for Kersey to gun down before he was able to continue on with the plot. The final villain of sorts tried his best to be intimidating, but all I could really see was an edgy McLovin trying to fight Bruce Willis. Speaking of the action, it was fun, if not a bit repetitive. I only say that because most of the deaths, honestly, felt sort of tame for an R-rated movie. There were 2 decently graphic deaths that had fun special effects work, but it was clear that they were cut short. It's funny because this was directed by Eli Roth, and yet the action didn't feel nearly as ramped up as you might think it would get. Sure, it's okay that it's all a bit more grounded, and it makes the more violent finishers and final set piece all the more fun, but I guess I was expecting Death Wish 2 or 3 levels of action, when in reality it went for a slightly more subdued feel. The final house raid was cool though, if not a bit too short. The editing for the film overall was really nice, giving a slick, almost comic book-like style. It's funny because a few of the characters in the film talk about what it was happening as if it were a comic book or a video game, so the style choices were probably, and thankfully, intentional. Another nice thing is that even though this was an action film in 2019, the film was well lit enough even in the dark, so I could see all of what was happening. That's typically a problem with more modern day action films. They make the film extremely dark so they can get away with violence, but here, it was well lit and you could actually see the violence. The soundtrack was a thumping 70s feeling instrumental beat that fit in line with a slightly more seedy feel of some of the movie's sets. Back in Black, while usually overused for these sort of movies, was used in a fun enough context that I didn't mind its inclusion. It was also a decent end credits song. And with all that said, while I did enjoy Death Wish 2018, I sadly don't think it's as rewatchable as I would have liked it to be. It's an alright lazy Sunday flick to enjoy if you have nothing else to watch, and it definitely is a fun viewing. The problem comes with just how generic it can sometimes feel. It has decent action moments and thankfully never drags, but I think the biggest sin is that if you've seen the trailer, you've already seen the movie. Yep, it's one of those where they show you all the set pieces and good jokes in the trailer. It's a good watch if you want some action, and thankfully doesn't feel like a waste of time, but this is definitely more of a rental or a stream than a buy. As always, if you want to help support the channel, please consider sharing the video with a friend or checking out my Patreon linked in the description below. If you have any comments, questions, or recommendations, leave them down below as I read and reply to everything. Until next time, this is Thierry Williamson signing off until the next video. See ya guys!